I still can't grow like a beard. So maybe once I can grow a beard, I can change my hairstyle.
We both can't grow beards.
You can. You're being humble. I actually
27
can't.
years.
You got something though. You can make something happen. I saw that handlebar.
Oh yeah, that was pretty.
That's
sick.
nuts. I can't do anything like
That
that.
was sick.
Hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Dan. And we welcome to the studio for the second time. Chase Atlantic.
You're talking to me?
Minus
Beautiful human?
Clinton.
Oh, hello.
We are down a member.
We are.
Yes.
He's in Australia.
Yeah.
Yep, back
He's still
home.
chilling with the fam, getting that real good just rest and recovery, that R&R.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Inspired by, I don't know, you've had a crazy year.
Yeah.
You mentioned it to me briefly, but I wanted to bring it up because it is true. A lot of traveling, a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
A lot of life.
Lessons,
Yeah, a lot of life in general. You know, a lot of growing to do.
especially since the last time we spoke.
No, time really does move in a weird place. Like,
Especially since COVID.
life has been very different. And that interview and that era leading into this next one, like there was a hiatus and a break period that goes on even before you released this last album, right?
Yeah, we had. I think it was almost 3
3
years
years.
before we made this newest album.
It wasn't necessarily a hiatus. We were still
We're still trying to make
Hang
music.
out,
We
yeah,
just
making
sucked
music.
a bunch of times at it.
yeah. It felt like the universe was against us for a couple of years there. Every time we tried,
Yeah, something would happen.
something would happen. So last year in February is when we really got together and became Chase Atlantic again.
Can we talk about the idea of the universe working against you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that came because of some success?
I don't know. We just got we tried to go to Tahoe, and then they had the worst winter storm they've had in like over 100 years. And like we spent most of our time, instead of making music, shoveling snow so we could
Survive.
survive.
Instead of, 3 Australians in the middle of a winter storm in Tahoe.
We're like, yeah, we'll go away. First time going away to make our own album. You know what I mean? Like that special trip, and we were just shoveling snow and like getting our cars like stuck. And then Christian and I, when we landed at the airport, like it was just blizzarding. And Christian already doesn't like when I drive him around.
I'm already sketchy as it is.
And so we're going through this blizzard. The road doesn't even exist. Can't see anything. And he was actually really good about it.
Well, he drove very slow and very carefully.
We got through it. But even to get to the house, we were like, what the fuck?
We need to acknowledge like what a feat that is. Because
Yeah.
one, you're driving on a totally opposite side of the road that you're not used to.
I mean...
And then on top of that, like when's the last time you experienced snow?
Yeah, there's no
Never.
snow.
No.
Yeah.
Never drive. I mean, Clinton was always the driver. You know,
Yeah.
We came out to America when we were like 18, 17. We never got our driver's license. Clinton always drove us around.
Also, the car wasn't well equipped for driving in snow.
Yeah, Tahoes are not good in the snow.
They're not good in Tahoe.
Tahoes aren't good in
Chevy
Tahoe.
Tahoes aren't good?
No.
No, not in
They're, like,
Tahoe.
built
Great
for snow.
cars, but they're not
Yeah,
built
no,
for the
they're not
snow.
built for
When
Tahoe.
I've seen them, they're not built for
It's-
the snow.
Yeah, so when Clinton went up, he went up with Seth, who does like a lot of our like mastering and mixing. And the car, I remember when we drove past it, was stuck in this area. They couldn't move it, and it already was like 3/4 like up to the roof with snow surrounded.
That was our introduction.
a couple of days after that, you couldn't even see it. You just knew where the car was because of a big snow pile.
Yeah.
And this was like 3 minutes away from the house. It wasn't just like directly near the house.
Wait, so okay, how long were you planning to stay in Tahoe to make music?
We were going to try and make like...
An album.
Yeah, we
It
were
was
going to
to
try and
make
make...
an album.
Or at least like half an album. We made one song.
Wait, so we're thinking about like weeks, right?
Yeah, we were there
Yeah.
for three and a half, 4 weeks. There was moments there where it's like, I can't see us leaving Tahoe alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tahoe fails.
Yeah.
You say you make one song.
Yeah.
Did that song make the album?
It sure
Yeah,
did.
it did.
Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Yeah.
If you listen to the first lyrics, peel it up in a winter storm.
Yeah.
So, okay, you get one record out of it, but then you choose to pause after that?
We just couldn't find the momentum or like the time to lock in because we were living together when we made Beauty and Death.
When we saw you guys last.
Yeah. And so it was a lot easier to just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're doing it all the time. You
Yeah,
can do
you're
it
in
on
the
your
same
own
house.
time.
Yeah, and you just share. But then when you start moving to your own houses, and then you have to find the time to everyone's available to connect, and you know,
I think our issue was consistency. So we would make a good song, Mitchell would write something really cool, and then the next day, oh, I've got this coming up, I can't do it. So we didn't find the time. So last year, it was like block out everything and we had to turn the Chase Atlantic back on.
Yeah.
And that took us, I'd say, a week.
Yeah, I mean, throughout it was still scary as well, because me personally, I was like second guessing everything I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I don't know how to make music.
Because it was the first time it's like, how do you make music like Chase Atlantic?
Yeah.
Usually we'd be like inspired by an album or different artists. We'd had life happen. This was the first.
Yeah, we were trying to go with what we'd already made and like our sound, because we had it kind of defined by the third album. So fourth album is actually pretty scary, you know.
So it's like this idea of being inspired by yourself.
Yeah, and not only like not trying to like beat what we had done last time, but still meeting those same like expectations in terms of like quality of the songs and the songwriting and like the depth behind it. And there's a lot of second guessing after 3 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, like, people can fall into this idea of like doing something just because they think that's what their fans want, as opposed to doing.
Yeah, no, this is for us for sure,
And
but
that's probably why it did take so long. Is
Yeah.
because
Finding the balance.
We had moments where we were making songs that we weren't that happy with, but we never like. We're pretty good in a sense that if we're going to continue with an idea, it's one that we all.
yeah, it can't be like it's okay. We should probably continue. It has to be like, it's good enough. We have to
Yeah.
continue on this.
How many ideas came before the one that we settled on, which is Lost in Heaven?
Are you talking about like the name of the album or the album itself?
Name, concept. Like,
Um,
how do you really start that process?
So we had like 75% of an album done, and then I left my computer in the rain. I don't back any of my stuff up
Wait.
like an idiot. So yeah,
We have
Yeah.
so much to dissect
that
here.
kind of that's kind of like
So that
that's
adds another
disheartening. It's a
layer.
little
Universe.
disheartening.
Wait, hold on. You had so 75% of this album is done.
Yeah.
It's all not backed up.
Nope.
Where do you leave your laptop?
It was just
Cairns,
outside
in a monsoon
like
in Cairns.
like it just rains randomly. You can't tell. It wasn't like overcast. I just accidentally left my laptop out in the backyard, and it just pissed down rain that night.
Cairns will do that. It'll be a beautiful sunny day and then monsoon at night.
And I was like, my heart just sunk. My stomach sunk. I was like, no.
So were you able to recover any of that
Nah.
75%? So that's all just wiped.
Yep.
And how do you even start to rebuild?
You just go, fuck it.
Well, this is the back to the universe feeling like it's against you, but it's not that it was against us. It was just waiting. It wasn't the right time to make an album. And I think we didn't have enough to talk about then.
Yeah.
After Beauty and Death, 2 years after, it's like not much had happened. We'd gone on a tour or two, but like life hadn't actually happened to us yet.
Yes.
And
So
then
all
once
those
it
experiences that kind of made it more difficult, in a sense, made it easier as well.
Do you just rebuild the album from scratch after that? or do
Yeah, you don't
to-
try and base anything off of the old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you can
New
barely remember it.
concepts,
You know what I mean?
new
You have to open the
everything.
session file and be like, okay, that's how it goes. But if you don't have anything to reference, you don't remember how a song went.
Was any part of you, even for a little bit, like trying to chase what you had because you believed in it?
I mean, but I knew. I was like, yeah, it's gone.
I'm so sorry.
That's
That's
fine.
all right.
I mean,
Yeah, it was meant to be in a weird way.
we
Totally.
made an album. You know what I mean?
That and the album's great.
Thank you.
And more life was lived. But I understand that, right? So like you release 3 albums. All you're doing for a long time is just supporting that work.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, like everything goes on pause because your life becomes supporting these albums and all
Touring.
your whole catalog. Yeah, via tours and promo and travel
Yeah.
and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And art imitates life, and like putting life on hold kind of means you stall making art because
You haven't got anything to write about.
yes,
Or, yeah. And you also, like, I feel like even with production, because for this album, Christian, like, leveled up his production and was going nuts.
Thanks,
And
man.
it was really cool to kind of have that extra support, you know what I mean? And it was a game changer for sure. And so I think having that time as well, so we could all kind of hone in our craft more, was kind of a blessing. And the fact that we were able to collaborate in a sense that it made it easier for one person or the other.
We spent a week or 2 weeks making instrumentals, and in that time Mitchell was still writing. And at the end of every week, maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday, we'd get together and try and write some stuff. Mitchell would freestyle some stuff.
Yeah.
But it kind of is, you get into a bit of Groundhog Day, because you wake up,
Yeah.
go to studio, and then
Sometimes you
go
don't
to
have
sleep and you go,
anything. and you're like,
next day I got to go studio again, and then next day I got to go studio again. So
Did you
don't-
force yourself to try to get it out
Yep.
like in a concentrated set of time?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't force, obviously, good
Yeah.
music. It's impossible. But we were at least forcing ourselves to show up.
Yeah, that's what you can do. You can force yourself to show up.
You can't
because
force the music, yeah.
You can make maybe 2 or 3 not great songs, but if you're there and you're there the next day, you'll find one.
Yeah, consistency is everything. And
Yeah.
then showing up is half the battle.
Yep.
Fuck.
We
And
did
by
it.
the way, out of the 2 or 3 songs you don't end up using could eventually come the one you use, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every song's a stepping stone to where you
Well,
need
I
to
mean,
be.
Ricochet. You know, Ricochet was kind of in the background for a long
Yeah,
time.
and we worked on that a few
reworked.
times, yeah.
Mitchell took it home one day. Like, we hadn't heard it for ages. Mitchell took it home, reworked it, added that really cool bridge. We already had the Ricochet chorus, but then the verses. Now we can write about Tahoe in the song, knowing that it's the one that survived Tahoe. So, yeah, in a sense, it did work out for the best, and it's become a fan favorite for sure.
Yeah.
What story are you telling with this whole album? Or like what story ended up presenting itself once it was all done?
I don't know. A lot of vulnerability. I mean, it's crazy because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I was watching the Grammys and a lot of the songs, you know what I mean? You listen to the lyrics and you're like, okay, there's not a ton of transparency in here. It doesn't feel like this artist is really sharing a piece of their soul, if that makes sense. Like there's some songs that do feel very emotional and vulnerable, but the amount of vulnerability is almost like it was a coin toss for sure. Like it could have gone one or two ways with the amount of vulnerability we put onto this album.
I
Like
think-
touching on subjects that we weren't sure we were allowed to touch on.
I think what I was surprised about is the amount of people in some of the songs, the amount of songwriters, producers. We can't do that because of what we're talking about and how vulnerable we're getting. You can't have somebody else in a room write about
Yeah,
what
it's just
we've
the
gone
three of
through
us.
together, you know? So we don't have other songwriters, we don't have other producers.
Yeah, and when they're saying thank you, it's like I want to say thank you to all the songwriters, all the producers who helped us. And there's nothing wrong with that.
At
you know what I
all,
mean?
at all.
That's just how it goes. But I was like, damn, we're really putting in
Yeah.
producing it ourselves, having the instrumentals entirely produced by us, and then having the lyrics entirely written by us, and then
Clinton and us
Yeah, having
spending a month afterwards mixing
Yeah.
it in a studio with Seth every night. Like, we're there the whole time.
You mentioned like themes that or topics that you may be not allowed to talk about.
Mm.
What does that mean to be allowed to talk about?
I don't know, that maybe wouldn't be accepted or would be too kind of too intense maybe
Yeah.
for the listener.
Are you talking about a record like Die For Me?
Not so
No.
much that one. Like Disconnected.
Lost, Disconnected.
Disconnected, Amy?
Amy
yeah.
was definitely like but we've written songs like that before that were like a kind of a story more than our lives, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
But there is a similar theme that connects the three of those.
Yeah. But it's just that sheer vulnerability and knowing that we got that support after the album was released and the feedback and everyone was like, this is great. I think the next album we can even try and push that limit even more.
Can we explore Die For Me? I mean, the theme there is prioritizing drugs over a relationship, correct?
I'd say that's more You. The song You.
Okay.
Was prioritizing drugs over a relationship, but then learning to prioritize a relationship over drugs.
Yeah.
So You is about that.
Yeah, You more
So
You.
where's Die For Me? What is...
Die For Me is just kind of like it's kind of Beauty and Death-esque. That was the one that was kind of just, here's the bridge between Beauty and Death and the new record.
That one was a cool song,
Yeah.
I'd say. Us just us not taking it too seriously.
Yeah, because a lot of songs are pretty heavy, and that one we'll just make it chill.
Hours Lost seems pretty heavy.
Yeah.
What were you guys going through when you were writing that one?
I don't know. I mean, just always going through something. I think that's one of the challenges of becoming more successful. They always say, the classic line, more money, more problems. Also, like, when you're doing it all by yourselves, it's very isolating. And you don't really have a lot of people to tell you what is the right way to approach certain situations in life, especially being from Australia. You know what I mean? And now having like over 23 million monthly listeners, and being these artists that like are really doing like well and excelling, but it's not happened extremely fast, but it's happened fast enough to the point where you start to, I don't know, you get kind of, for me personally, I got imposter syndrome pretty bad, and was like, I don't know how this is happening. Like, we put on a show at the O2, we put the tickets out, and then they sold in under an hour, and it's like, what?
It's a bit of a shock, you know, you still feel like you can't, how are we going to sell that out? Like O2 in Sydney, I've seen Katy Perry there, you know, some of the biggest artists in the world. Somehow we're headlining it and sell, you know, 10, 15,000 tickets. It's like, how did that happen?
Yeah, you just like, I don't know.
Have you tried to figure out why people connect to your music? I mean, a lot of it has to be the vulnerability, correct?
That's what I'm saying,
100%.
yeah. It has to. It has to be something. I mean, like, there's not enough information, because we're also kind of introverted by nature. We don't go to a bunch of, like, parties with other artists and connect and link up with a bunch of...
I mean, like, Australians
we don't have a ton of friends, you know?
Australians are aloof based on literally the geography of the planet.
Yeah.
Like, you are very much out on your own, and there's also not much of an artist community in Australia.
Well,
there is, but it's not like...
In Australia. We're not in Australia, that's the thing.
You're in LA?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that there's...
I mean, we live here.
But in Australia, there is a great music scene. It's just, it never makes it over here, because there's a ceiling in Australia. The labels are all controlled by a radio station. Like, some of the best artists in the world.
One radio
station. We won't say who, but...
rhymes with nipple paste.
But we have a lot of friends who are great Australian artists, right? And there is a huge community there. And it's just that they never kind of make it over here, or never get a chance to come over here. Not make it. Never get a chance to come over here and give America a chance. Whereas for us, that was always the goal.
Like, it's an interesting conversation to have, because, okay, I've heard from certain radio stations, not Nipple Ray, but I've heard from other ones, Liz and stuff, you know, that it's a record label problem. Record labels aren't choosing to,
I don't know if it's a record label problem, because talent is talent. You can't deny that.
Yeah, but like, why aren't they signing local acts? Why aren't record labels signing Australian acts?
I mean, I don't know what's going on. That's what we're trying to say.
They're literally in the business of importing other culture and bringing it in.
Well, what did you guys do then to make it out of Australia?
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I don't know.
We actually...
Because you also played Barclays in Brooklyn. That's huge.
Yeah.
But
Imposter syndrome.
I mean, we just released stuff ourselves.
Well, that.
Yeah. We had no label. We had no management. We were just in Brisbane, going to school, releasing music. And Joel and Benj, we always had plans to go to America, but Joel and Benji Madden took us to America, put us in a studio.
Yeah, they put us in front of a few talented people as well. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what record label you're signed to.
Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
Totally.
You know what I mean? If you have good enough art, or like art that enough people can relate to, or they want to listen to, then they're going to listen to it regardless of who you can't be restricted by it.
It shouldn't stop you from releasing music.
Yeah, and it's not like your record label restricts people. It's like, don't stream these artists.
Yeah.
We don't want you to stream them.
They just might, when they're shelving people, they're just not investing
what they might be investing. Yeah, they're just not giving them the
into
same kind of public attention.
Yeah.
Whereas we're very underground. Like, we don't have... Everything's organic. We have no, like, PR stunts. Like, we don't go nuts on the internet. We're not making TikToks. We're just letting it kind of do its own thing.
Well, you've also cultivated a community that rides with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've been around for years. And to your point, right, like, music is democratized more than ever. Gatekeepers have less say, and their gates are much shorter to hurdle over because of the way things are democratized. Like, even today compared to when we first met, like, dude, like, people have the opportunity to kind of build their own destiny.
Yeah, it's not about. A lot of people will make excuses though.
Oh, I was literally thinking this. All the excuses that, like, people can hit the comment section with, which is like, but like,
these guys don't know what they're talking about. I've been making music for 20 years.
Playlists are controlled by the man.
Yeah,
like,
we're not on any playlist, by the way.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But I think that's also why people love you, and there is like this community that is.
You're a good cat.
I don't know if counterculture is the right way to describe it, but it is.
What counterculture means.
Like
not going with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What is the flow?
I feel that as well.
Exactly.
I feel like we've also cultivated it with the live performances we've done.
Yeah, we've
how
just
many shows we've played.
Invested our time into our music and invested our time into our music, our time into our live shows, and we just leave it all out there, and that's, I think, what helps us be appreciated.
Why doesn't a band like Chase Atlantic get acknowledged by the Grammys?
Again, I don't know.
Probably, I think, again, going back to what you were saying before, maybe some of the stuff we talk about is like...
Yeah, is it too much?
Is it too vulnerable?
But then again, like, isn't that what music's meant to be?
Well, as an expression, it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the Grammys are ready yet to have a Chase Atlantic.
But I will say this, like, it's not... Political is the wrong way to express it.
It does look very political.
Yeah, but
though.
you need to make an effort to be... in the Grammy, like
you got to play the game.
They're not going to just like pull your music and
no,
put
they're
you
not.
in the
Otherwise,
system.
there'd be so many random people.
You have to submit. Like
you
it's
have to play the game.
Yes, like you submit, you run the process.
It's politics.
I mean, it's relationship building.
Yeah,
but I think everybody plays the game.
You have to.
It's not whether or not it's an unfair advantage for some people. It's just there's a game you have to play.
And we're not here like, oh, why didn't they invite us to the Grammys?
We get it.
We understand why.
We get it.
We're not the...
We totally understand.
Again, like, we don't have, like, a bunch of friends.
I can understand. I mean, you see the stuff we talk about. It's like, should we give those guys a table? I don't know.
Are they gonna, like...
Are they gonna
hop on stage and just, like... Just like be cooked out of their minds.
I mean, we get it. We're not upset. We totally understand. We'd love to go.
We'll eventually get a Grammy.
Hey,
but
if you're listening, we'd love to go. We'll be good. We'll be on our best behavior.
I think even watching like a few things that Chappell Roan, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Chappell Roan.
Chappell Roan. I think a lot of things she said was really cool.
She's very smart.
And about like supporting artists if they're being signed to a label and making sure that they're looked after while they're trying to curate.
The healthcare as well, especially with like the mental health stuff. She would hit the nail on the head with that.
We have amazing people around us in our team and our management, but that still doesn't prepare you for when shit hits the fan.
That is true. And there is no support system. There is no real foundation. And to be honest, like, music and artists are like money-making assets. So if they are sick or out of commission or have to go through something, that's just delaying the money-making process.
And a lot of them have to hide it as well, especially if they are going through something. If they don't have music about that certain thing, you know what I mean?
When we just did this American tour, I think it's called Backstage Production is the name of the company, but every venue we're at, there's now a call line, like a helpline for bands who are going. They're like, it says, we know how hard it is to tour. Like, call us if you need help, which I think is pretty amazing.
Oh, that's
in
nice.
every green room, every dressing room we're in.
Wait, that's really, really cool. That's really special. That's putting
backline production. I think
it's prioritizing the right stuff.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Amy?
Yeah.
Amy's not a person.
What would you like to?
Right? It is a slang term for a drug.
We like to play with like double entendres and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is a slang term for Adderall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a personal relationship with it?
So I take medication for my ADHD. I have 2 forms of ADD.
Me too.
But not in a recreational sense, no. I don't have a problem with my medication. Yeah, but people that do take it recreationally, like I've heard some horror stories, people staying up for days and days on end, not getting any sleep, and then getting addicted to it.
Yeah, using it as like, I can't work until I have that.
Yeah, whereas I went back home to Cairns and I didn't have my medication anymore. I was sleepy for like 2 days and that was that. And that was just annoying. You know what I mean?
And I just got to say, like, they don't actually offer Adderall in Australia. They offer Ritalin.
Yeah.
Because Adderall, the effects around it, here in America, we don't look at the full picture all the time.
Yeah.
And I got to say,
Quick
like,
fix.
yeah. And I've been on Adderall since I was like 10 or 11.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very high dosage. And I took it every day until I was 21. And then Dan said, "You're an asshole when you're on this."
That's fair.
He was a different person.
That's fair.
Yeah. Seriously?
Yeah. Well, because like what ended up happening was like my whole life changed. So like I wasn't needing it as much to get through. So then it was manifesting on little things.
Like your ego would inflate, or?
Well, it was more of like getting hung up on like the tiniest little details.
Oh, so you just like hyperfixate when you didn't have to. Yeah.
I would get irritable about things that like were tiny in the scope of the larger picture.
Yeah, so that's what I've heard from like other people, happening to other people.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've lowered my dosage. I just like take it when I need to.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Me too. I'll microdose Adderall. I'll literally take 5 milligrums.
Yeah.
Or between 5 and 10 of instant release.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now I'm like...
That's a mega dose for me.
Yeah, no, that's... it is,
well, I gotta say, like, dude, I was at a point like on between 40 and like 50 or 60
Far
like extended
release.
release.
That's what I was on immediate release when I first started. And then I had to kind of figure that out, bring it down. But again, I don't have a dependency on it. You know what I mean? If someone would take it away for the rest of my life right now, I'd be like, that sucks, but that's fine.
It's so interesting. Like when I was in high school, I did form a dependency on it, but like it was more attached to this idea that like, you know, with Adderall, like a lot of those types of drugs, stimulants would like curb your appetite. And then if I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't need to go to the bathroom, and then I would go the whole school day without going to the bathroom, which is what I wanted.
No, but I
was like, I was attached to it.
If I don't
in this
eat, I
weird
get
way.
sad.
Oh, really?
I get so sad. So I need to eat. So that was the one annoying thing when I was accidentally taking the high dosage, was my appetite wouldn't be as good, and then I'd be not eating, and I'd be sad.
Yeah.
And so
cycle.
Yeah, I had to figure that out.
The cycle.
Make sure I eat, so I'm not sad, so I can go to the toilet.
In school.
This wasn't in school. I had undiagnosed ADD for 17 years of my life. I just undiagnosed blindness for 16.
Wait, what?
Not blindness, sorry.
Yeah.
Almost. Blindness is a bad terminology.
Yeah.
Very, very poor short eyesight. Like anything past here is very blurry. I didn't realize, no.
What do you mean? How do you not realize that?
I don't know. I guess
you just think everything...
Yeah.
Wait, you thought the whole life was blurred?
Ignorance was bliss. I thought this was the same for everyone. Every time I go to the movie theaters, I'd be like, it's fine.
It is... There is a bit...
It's okay.
There's definitely a bit of Australia of like...
Superman 3D
you'll be all right.
sucked.
That is such an Australian thing.
It is Australia. Like, you'll be right. I can't see the board. Oh, you'll be fine.
I was like, no one can see the board. That's why we
closer.
stand. That's why we sit at the back. You don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
But then even when we were watching the Grammys last night, I was like, oh my God. It's like from 270p to 1080. It's ridiculous.
Did you get glasses?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was 17. Wow. After I graduated high school.
You made it through while being blind.
Ignorance was bliss.
You did all right as well.
It was also the most awesome thing as well to like hold off for that long and then get vision.
It's something to look forward to.
It was like, wow, this shit is good.
Wait,
this shit is fucking clean. This is crispy as hell.
You just had like this blurry idea of everything before.
Yeah, but I didn't know, so I didn't.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had a heightened sense anywhere? Like, was your taste a little...
Spidey senses were tingling all the time.
Was your hearing a little bit better?
Yeah, no, that's what made me so good at music.
Yeah. Hey.
Take his glasses back away from
Yeah, as soon as I have glasses, downhill.
Let's unpack. No, but by the way, that is such an Australian thing.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be all right.
You'll be fine.
My brother somehow figured it out. He got glasses pretty early on. Taylor. But then when I was hanging out with Clinton, he was like, "Look at that stupid sign over there," and I was like, well, "How can you read that?"
Like,
this is the first time it happened.
Clinton's got like 20/20 vision. He can see anything.
First time it happened out of high school. He's like, "Yeah, you can't read that." I was like, "No, I can't read that." I was like, "How did that never happen once in my life before this moment?"
Clinton has got heightened sense of smell as well, and has saved us from a bus fire before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
He was like, "Get out! I smell a bus fire coming."
I was sitting with Riley shout out Riley. I was sitting in the front of a bandwagon. Clinton comes out and goes, "I smell smoke," and we're like, "I don't smell it."
Cigarette.
And then Riley looks out and goes, "Yep, everybody out." And we turn around and the smoke coming out of the bus, so we all leave, and then the bus catches on fire. We put it out with an extinguisher. We called the company, and they said, "She'll be right."
And she was right.
And she was all right. She got us to the next venue, and then we got a different bus. But yeah, we dead set. We drove the bus after it caught fire to the next place.
Anywho, Battle Scars Forever, you know.
Amy
Good
is a song
song.
based off of
Good song.
It is a double entendre.
But it's not about your life. It's about somebody else's. Recreational habits ironically never end. Chemically forced euphoria. Amy injects again.
There, you got the lyrics down there?
I do.
That's gnarly. Yeah, no, they're pretty intense. But these are stories. I mean, this is real. This happens to real people in real life. You know what I mean? I don't know anyone personally myself, but I've heard stories from other people, from fans, so forth, like on the internet. And just, yeah, I remember when we wrote Heaven and Back, that there was a really good response to that from a few people saying, like, this really helped me in a time of
need
where I was really struggling.
So that inspires this idea of taking their stories and
kind of just making a story. It's not even like, I guess it's not helpful. You know what I mean? There's no tips in there on how to fix it. It's just a story, of a real thing that does happen.
But not based on anyone in the group's reality.
No. That one's a little more intense than what we've done.
I mean, disconnected, talking about drugs again.
Yeah, I mean,
Shocker.
what?
Well, you know, a
Shocker.
lot of people on like places like Reddit and stuff do. You know, like one of the only critiques that does exist on the internet is that
All these guys write about is drugs.
yes, you know,
If you listen to Drugs and Money, it's actually pretty good. That was kind of like a viewer discretion, listener discretion type of song where it's like, listen.
If you listen to the bridge of Drugs and Money, it's a great story. Clinton dropped Mitchell and I at a writing session and said, "Don't write songs about drugs or money." And we wrote Drugs and Money.
Yeah.
I think it's the cool music we listened to growing up. In a way, the drug, it's a good word because it's metaphoric, and it puts you in like a different landscape. As soon as with like the music in itself, the atmospheric ambient vibe that we have kind of feels like a drug in a sense. Trying to put
we're
you
trying to
into
make
a different
audio
scape.
Yeah.
So when you're creating these records, how is it actually working? Are you starting with production? Are you starting with lyric? Like, what is it?
Production mainly. We start with production. I mean, we can't sit down with a guitar and start trying to write songs to that.
We produce on Ableton.
So
we care so much about the production. We care so much.
But so you're mainly producing, right? So
All of us.
Yeah.
All
Really?
of us. Mitchell's probably the best producer.
No.
But
You're good. You are.
So are you hearing things in your head? Like what
A bunch of stuff.
yeah, I think it's hearing stuff in your head, especially synth wise.
And just knowing what to kind of do and what to pick, and
It's blank canvas. It's not like the artist has the idea of what they're gonna draw. It's just like, let's go with it.
But is the canvas is blank, but your intention starts with like a mood or what?
yeah, or like hearing a cool chord
cool
progression. You know what I mean? And then being like, how can I take that chord progression and adapt it into something that sounds entirely different to that song?
Yeah.
You know, just something that's like inspiring. And then you're like, okay, I feel inspired. Let me sit down and produce. And producing is the fun part. It's the non-monotonous part of the job, I think.
So, how fleshed out will you get like a track before you start writing
Like
lyrics?
pretty
Fully.
much done, yeah.
We try to make the song be able to stand on its own.
Yeah.
Really?
So if you listen to Amy, which we actually did have help at the start of that one from Austin Hall.
Yeah,
who
that
gave
was
us-
cool. Yeah,
who
gave us a
gave
few
us the-
loops.
He gave us the idea,
chord
and then
progressions.
Mitchell went in and completely changed like a lot of made it darker than what it was. But all the songs, all the instrumentals, if you were just to listen to them, they could stand on their own.
Yeah.
Because
We might release a little instrumental album one day.
Yeah.
we started as
Producers, we started as producers.
But is
mainly
that,
him, but as an EDM producer. You know, we were inspired by Skrillex and KRS and all these huge producers, Yoshi.
yeah.
Like
Like the more underground, like
16-year-old,
SoundCloud,
like these-
we were doing the kind of bass, the the moving bass before drill. It was even pop. Like if you go back to like
KRS Gen Aiko.
Numb to the
remix?
Feeling. You know what I mean? Like the bass is going nuts. Like that's
Dude,
way
voodoo.
before drill.
Yeah.
Way before they were doing it like stock standard, like 5-year foreign and you know what I mean, Central C.
you have now used the word mamacita twice in your music?
That's
And
a question.
we're gonna use it again.
Is that a statement or a question?
No, it's just, well, I want to know why.
Why? We're gonna use it again. We go.
Have I?
Yeah,
Mamacita and umami.
Wait, so you've used it 3 times. It's also in
I don't know.
Numb to the Feeling.
Is it? Mamacita. Are you talking about Mamacita still?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
It's just a lot of times
What do
to
you
use a
mean
really
do
unique
this?
word,
We've got
dude.
like 150 songs.
What are you getting at, Zach? What are you getting at, Zach?
It's actually quite a low percentage.
Wait, hold on. Let's dissect
We
that
say
though for
we
a
say
second.
the you in a lot of
So
songs as
fucking,
well.
I've said the word the. How many times we said the?
You said the.
Yeah, let's compare "the" and "mamacita."
we have a whole thing where we say
Okay, how many Latin albums have the word Mamacita in them? That's
Okay,
right. We need to
let's-
get to.
Well, tell me about your Latin roots.
I don't fucking know anything.
Can we talk about the album artwork? It's giving Y2K.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
Yeah,
Spot on.
nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's what we were going
Yeah,
for?
that's what we're going for. Mission achieved.
Wait, so back to this.
Yeah.
What are they? They're so cute.
So our friend Chris,
Yeah,
who
he's
been with us since
cool.
Phases. He made the cover for Phases. which
Great
is our
body work.
Second record.
Thank you.
He's been a best friend of ours since COVID. He pretty much moved in with us during Beauty
Yeah.
and Death.
And he's so smart, man.
He's the fourth member because he's also a fan of the music.
Yeah.
So he can come in and tell us like, oh, this is great. You know,
Yeah.
maybe this one doesn't fit in as well.
That really helps, especially when you don't have writing camps. Like to have even just one extra person to bounce an idea off.
Yeah, dude. Like you need that. You need some outside perspective
Yeah,
that is not
it's
the three of you
rare.
in
Like
the
we have our
trenches.
friend Jake Stark,
Yeah.
and he's, you know what I mean. Like we have like maybe 4 people that we can bounce our ideas off of
Yeah.
outside of us 3. That we'd have to really like kind of listen to and hope that it's good enough. But yeah, he's been helping us for so long, and the ideas that he brings to the table are always phenomenal. And
He gets it.
And yeah, to watch him kind of flesh out those 2 characters, so Aura and Void are their names.
Of the 2 characters there.
Yeah, to watch him flesh them out from Cinema 4D and just have like a basis of what they were going to be to what they became was
He was making him
incredible.
do backflips. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
But it was just standing there, stock standard,
Yeah,
like
stock standard, and we like make it do a flip.
Wait, so the names are Aura and Void?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. You mentioned the Void.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's kind of the, you know what I mean. You got to create some kind of like lore for
Yeah.
for music. It just adds an extra like interesting element.
Yeah, it's
you know?
a universe.
Yeah, creating. That's what we're
So-
trying to do. With Chase Atlantic universe, but creating different worlds within that universe, or different universes within the galaxy of Chase Atlantic.
So does this album take place in the Void?
I mean, the void is also something that sits in your stomach.
Yeah.
You know, on those dark days where you just feel like there's a huge hole right here.
I think in a sense it's also like that's kind of the mind, right? The yin and yang of the two characters in your mind.
And light doesn't
Oh.
necessarily mean aura isn't necessarily a good.
Good.
And
void isn't necessarily bad.
Yeah.
They're just different.
They kind of just coincide with each other. You can't have one without the other. And it's super cool because we also kind of have these characters now rather than just having a storyline. It's really interesting to implement characters into the music and have these references to things you can actually name, like Aura and Void. To have these two like little Pokemon, if you will.
Yeah, these like tangible like representations.
Yeah.
these vessels for your music.
It's so I just think it's so cool. Chris is an amazing artist, and his ideas, and he's always bringing ideas to the table, and it's always such a pleasure to work with him.
Yeah.
And they're cute as fuck.
Mm.
They're so adorable.
Yeah.
How has the relationship between the 3 of you changed over the years? Because I think you mentioned that you don't live together anymore.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Really?
well, you know.
Basically all there
Well,
is
that's
to it.
pretty big because
Yeah.
you're not with each other 24/7
well,
anymore.
We met. We were 14 when we met in Australia. We were actually living in different cities at the time, but we're growing up, going to high school, and then Clinton and Mitchell moved in together. Obviously, they are brothers, so they live together. And then after COVID, you know, we've got respective partners now and stuff. We're getting literally physically bigger. We're living in a house together.
We both did a session this morning, actually, before we came to this interview.
Oh yeah, training. We're into
what?
gym
Gym now,
sessions.
nice.
Yeah.
So do you live? You have partners here? You live separately in LA? Or?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of even better when we see each other because we have things to tell each other now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a huge thing. We went
Healthy.
from, you know, we were like Power Rangers We'd drive everywhere together.
Everything.
He would slide over the front of the car. I'd like roll out.
We would turn into a big
Clinton would measly like meander out
sometimes.
Yeah, into the
Converge.
Megatron. But yeah, that's been the hardest thing about getting together to make music. But since we've broken that with
Curse,
Lost in
yeah.
Heaven, that broke the curse. Like, I mean, we're in studio tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. We're back in.
Yeah.
Man, that's great.
Back to work.
Really? On another album, or what's the goal?
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
Essentially, well, a deluxe. Can I say that? Am I allowed to? I don't
say
know.
that. Yeah, we're working on the extension of the story of Aura and Void.
And we already have some bangers in the
Stuff
pipeline.
that didn't
ready to
make
go.
the album.
Yeah.
What are the biggest differences now? Like, I mean, you're with the label, right? You are independent?
Yeah, I mean, we've been with the label
since Beauty and Death.
We had 400,000 monthly listeners.
But weren't you with a major, though, before?
We were with Warner Brothers for the first one.
Yeah.
And then BMG for the second.
And then Fearless now.
For 2 records.
Yeah. And so the exponential growth that we've had just with being with Fearless. But yeah, we're grateful to
They've been very accommodating.
To be working with them.
Very accommodating with us because obviously the break, but just also letting us be creative, figure it out in our own time. And there's little things that they do that like a big label wouldn't. You know, little gifts, packages. Actually, when we held Beauty and Death, the vinyl, I was like, nobody's done this for us before.
Yeah.
This is a real album. Nobody made vinyls for us before.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah, and especially like when the roster isn't full of big star, like, you know what I mean, big artists, like huge artists. They definitely, even Concord, the extension of Fearless, they've been amazing. And yeah, we're just super grateful.
I also feel like Swim is about to hit 1 billion streams, isn't it?
Yeah, just
Boys.
Ryan was showing me the like how fast it's going up, and it's like 40 streams per, like 40 new streams per second.
It's like 1 million a day.
Yeah, it's going nuts.
What did that song teach you? Anything?
I don't.
It taught us
keep
something.
making music.
Be careful with your percentages.
That's fair.
Okay, you cut it all up?
No, that's all we'll say. That's all. I won't say no more.
Yeah, I won't say no more. Yeah, no, we were young. We were a little naive. Also, we didn't have the amount of
We didn't have the money or whatever or the following, so we gave up a lot of it. But it's all right because
you got to make sacrifices to get to where you got to go.
We're gonna make
100%.
lots more songs. We're gonna be Billy Boys. Get the nice little Spotify plug.
Mm-hmm.
I
think it's an amazing achievement, and the fact that we're still kind of underground in a sense, like, but we're like in what number are we in the world?
265th.
Yeah, 265th artist in the world.
It's still pretty good.
It's crazy.
I feel like some of the artists above you guys can't sell out the venues you're selling.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a difference between what we've learned. Thanks
the hustle is real.
To Joel and Benj, that there's a difference between the internet stardom and a real band, a real thing, something that's tangible that you can go to and want to go to a show. And we've really built that the hard way, I believe, through Warped Tour, through opening up for bands, you know, the early days. We did the hard yards.
We've never been, we haven't really turned down anything because you never know, like, these people that are going to the shows, this might be their only chance to see a show. And so what we've always done was give 110%, regardless of whether there's 10 people in the room or 10,000 people in the room. We're just going to give 110%, like,
no matter what.
Even if, like, we're sick or, like, I have, like, some back issues. And doctors said, don't stop doing that. Stop doing what you're doing on stage. And it just can't. Because, you know what I mean, they might only get one chance to see it, and why would you treat any show differently to the next?
We never scaled down. We did a room, I think it was a 700-person room, and I think there was like
20.
maybe 20 people that bought tickets. So before the show, we got the chairs.
We were trying to make
the
venue look smaller.
the venue look smaller because it's a huge fucking room.
So
we
big.
used to do that. We'd go around America and make the rooms look smaller because they kept putting us in rooms that we couldn't sell out.
But you would play those rooms like they were sold out.
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly. That's the thing,
Absolutely.
because there's no difference between those people who bought tickets. And
why should they get shortchanged?
Totally.
Just because the show's smaller.
But also, you'll sell out those venues and bigger ones next time.
Yeah.
I mean, again, still trying to fathom this whole O2. And then Manchester's 23,000. And to sell out those venues in under an hour is
13,000 in Poland.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We're just so grateful.
How do you guys push each other to be better?
I think we're very patient with each other. We're extremely patient with each other, very understanding. I mean, we're becoming older, more mature. Still do stupid shit from time to time, but that's life. But like we respect each other so much. Like we care about each other's feelings, and we know we're not we've never once let anything we don't let our egos go unchecked.
We've also been taught to not go to sleep angry.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't live together anymore, so it doesn't apply.
Yeah, we're not like...
It doesn't apply as much. But when we did, that was the only time that things would ever get. But even that, it's brothers. Like, I know it sounds cliche and cheesy, but it's not like we're friends. Like, we've gone so far past the friendship stage.
It's like,
that
take a bullet for the next person.
Yeah. Like, nothing... If I could tell you that there's a lot of bands... Sorry, not many bands that could have gone through what we went through in the last 3 years
and survived
stayed together.
it, yeah.
Not a chance.
No
way.
Why? You gotta, you know what I mean? The egos.
Egos.
Clash of egos.
Clash of life.
We share everything equally, regardless of what's been done. You know what I mean? We could make a song where Christian's produced the whole thing, and then he could easily be like, well, I produced that whole song. I want I want the percentage for the whole production. You know what I mean? But we share everything equally. We've always done that.
It's the only way to survive. I mean, you look at all the bands from the 70s and 80s.
They start like
then
weird
it becomes a contest
because you know what I mean?
I want my song on this instead, even though it's not the best foot forward.
They just want to get more money.
I have personal friends who go through that.
Yeah.
Family bands that go through that.
It's not
very real.
That's the thing. We always talk about it as well because we see other artists or other bands like kind of having these internal conflicts where it is about money or just even credits, you know? And we're so grateful that we're not in that position and we don't feel a certain way about it.
So healthy.
It just keeps things so easy.
All of us at one stage have floated away a bit, and the other two bring you back down.
Yeah.
In a healthy way, not like it's not
like,
anchoring down. It's almost like the opposite. It's like, you know, the saying of like getting dragged down, you know, with the ship or whatever. It's the opposite. It's like grabbing the person and pulling them up.
Yeah, carrying them along when they need it.
Instead of people pulling you down, you're pulling them back up. And
it's so real as well. It just happens, and you're like, how do you guys? Even when I watched the video of the motherfucker, Jane's addiction.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing?
Dave Navarro's band and the
video of Jane's your friends,
addiction.
Buddy.
What happened?
Oh, he just like
he was on stage.
Fight on stage.
Like those are your homies.
That stuff happens all the time when you get too big for your boots. And
we would never let each other get too big for our... Yeah, that's what I mean. Our egos don't go unchecked.
Yeah. And we've also learnt certain times on tour, like, you know, to give each other a bit of space, like, but we just don't really fight like that.
There's no time.
There's no time to fight.
There's no time for unnecessary drama. There's too much life shit going on.
Hey, fucking man.
Yeah.
Amen. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Genuinely.
You almost said you love us. And
I mean,
you can say it. It's
I love
okay.
you guys. I love you guys.
We love you guys. You guys are great.
I have a special place in my heart for Australian people, too. They're good people.
Most of us. We try.
Yeah, that's true. Most. My partner's from Australia.
Cool.
He's a hoot and a fucking half, dude.
Where's he from?
Adelaide.
He's from Adelaide. We got to play in Adelaide this time.
Yeah.
And we went to Perth for the first time.
Yeah, very first time going
to Perth. To us, we weren't sure was real.
Yeah.
We weren't 100% sure.
There was one to talk about it.
You know, I'm Tame Impala, Kevin Parker. I'm from Perth. I'm like, sure. I've never seen it. Right there, it's real.
Prove it.
It's really nice as well.
You thought you liked it?
Yeah. Lovely, beautiful place.
So where are you from?
Sydney.
From Perth.
Okay. From Perth. Sydney.
Sydney's one of my favorite cities on earth.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. I could live and work
City
there.
on the harbour.
It's an amazing city.
I think it's the best.
What inspires your hair? Will you ever change it?
I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just the more I have it, the deeper it gets the harder it gets to change it. Because when I was like younger, my grandmother used to do it, and then I started doing it again later on in life, and then I never got called out or anything on the internet for it. Like it's because most people would be like, "Oh, he's what's the terminology? It's
appropriation.
Yeah, cultural appropriation. But
his grandmother's from the Congo.
Yeah. So it's not like my excuse, but like I haven't been called out for it yet. But if I were to, then you know what I mean. It's not something I tried to steal or copy or like. So I don't know if
you got receipts.
Yeah, I don't need the receipts. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Totally.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think not for a hot minute. Like I still can't grow like a beard. So maybe once I can grow a beard, I can change my hairstyle.
We both can't grow beards.
You can. You're being humble. I actually
27
can't.
years.
You got something though. You can make something happen. I saw that handlebar.
Oh yeah, that was pretty.
That's
sick.
nuts. I can't do anything like that.
That was sick.
Yeah.
Do you braid it yourself?
Jordan does. My beautiful girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
She's really good at it, so I'm stoked. Like she'll always switch it up, and I don't have to go to a hairdresser.
It's a cool color too.
This is just a natural color.
Really? It's like a grayish brown.
Yeah. So I got mad grays.
Interesting.
I love how it's kind of honor your grandmother. That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, like she's still alive. My grandfather passed recently, but she's still alive and she's so healthy. Like she might live. She might live past 100. Who knows?
She had a great. She came to the Brisbane show, which was her first time seeing us live.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
She's a beautiful person. She got the spirit of 1,000 warriors.
Why do you wear the glove?
I don't know. I'm just into the glove thing at the moment.
Okay.
He likes
I've
racing.
got a lot of like non-answers for you today. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
I wish I had an answer for everything.
No, you like having extra grip. I understand.
No, it's like when I grabbed the water earlier, it slipped out of my hand
right
twice.
Which, that makes no sense because I touched
But also
it. It was like
go-karting.
racing.
That's
A
you
lot
drove
of
a go-kart
like,
here?
No, I
Yeah.
just
Yeah, on the 405.
how can big go-karting fan. Like go as much as I can. I go karting.
Where do you go kart?
K1.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That place.
Burbank. Sometimes the other one.
Sick.
But I've got like some good times there.
I used to go karting.
Yeah, it's so fun, man. And because we do like live shows, and there's that adrenaline that you get, so it's tough to find other ways to kind of get close to that amount of adrenaline when you're not on the road touring.
And go-karting is it?
Yeah, go-karting, like you're in the present. Like I have a lot of anxiety, just generalized, and so when I'm go-karting, my mind is just clear. You know what I mean? Because you're so hyper-focused on this one thing because you're just trying to set these good lap times and not hit anyone. And so I just find it's a beautiful outlet. Yeah.
I want to go-kart. I want to go.
Man,
Thanks.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's so wholesome as well. Like
It is.
I mean, it's crazy as well because you go karting and some people just don't know how to do it. It's like you drove here in a real car, and now you have no idea how to drive this thing.
They're too spinny.
What are you talking about? They're like, how do I revert? You can't hold down the brake and the accelerator at the same time. You drove here in a real car. What do you mean you can't figure this out? And they like crash into you. They're like, sorry. It's like, what the?
I relate to
You
those
can't do
people.
that in real life. You can't just crash into someone and be like, I didn't know, my bad.
Go-karts are too spinny, too greasy, too oily. Spinning out. Every corner.
Our very own Carlos doesn't drive. Would you try driving a go-kart?
Someone said that's the way to learn.
Yes.
Someone said that's the way to learn.
You just gotta jump into it, man.
Yeah, he's
Just when
afraid
you get
of
into a real car, it's not
Christian
that
really
slippy.
didn't want to drive at first, but then
no.
he just jumped into it. He was good.
It was my now girlfriend. She was like, do you have your license? I was like, yeah, but I'm not a very confident driver. She's like, come pick me up at the airport tomorrow. So I practiced and drove the day before. I drove from our place in Studio City, turned the highways off because I was like, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, no, there was a good minute where you weren't
Yeah,
driving
I would
on the
avoid
highways.
So it
highways.
took you about, 4.5 hours to
He
get to
somehow
LAX.
got to the airport using back streets, which is
Yeah.
borderline impossible, I
I thought
think.
that wasn't possible to do.
It's possible, but I remember I picked her up and we go back and like,
Shaking?
ooh, 2.5 hours. That's
You know we can get home quicker. No, we can't.
yeah.
highways are
It
close.
took me a second.
You know, it'll
to,
take like 30 minutes and you just hop on the highway. No,
Yeah.
4 hours.
He accidentally gets on, he's like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know how to I didn't know how to do a lot. I shouldn't have been.
Are you intoxicated, sir? No, I'm just fucking scared.
Fucking terrified. We don't have big highways in Australia.
Yeah, so. And it's on the other side of the road. It's very scary, and I can't drive in Australia. I tried.
I think
you tried. What happened?
I pulled over. I couldn't do it. No, yeah. I was like, I gotta go. You gotta take over because, dude, the depth perception, the side. Yeah, I was always driving so close to the curb.
So you get used to that. But to be fair, I did 100 hours in Australia to get my learners, but it was in Cairns. You can't go faster than 60 miles an hour.
And they're always watching you there.
Yeah, you get blasted.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So when I came to America, I was driving around. That's basically where I learned to drive properly. Was defensive driving was in America.
Yeah, dude, Big Brother's watching you in Australia, and it's too much.
The police need to make a certain amount of money, and especially in a small town.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah,
there's they just have random breathalyzer stops. We have to do it. It's mandatory. Can't turn around.
Yeah, and there's Facebook groups that tell you where all the stops are. It's hard. And they're looking for weed. They're looking for booze.
Yeah, everything.
And the only way to get around the weed thing is you got to use lemon or lime and put it on your tongue.
Yeah, luckily I didn't. There was a few times Mum picked me up from school and I was doing my learners and I was high but they're not going to pull over a guy in a school uniform driving with his L plates with his mum.
Yeah,
they might to teach you.
What have you been on while you're at school? Let me just see if you're drunk right now.
They wouldn't assume.
Mom's always why you been crying? I haven't.
In America, they still do the field sobriety test, and then if you fail that, you do a breath test.
Yeah, but that's only for alcohol. They actually can't test you for weed.
They don't have the thing, or they just don't want to.
No, there's a
bunch of signs saying don't drive while high.
Yeah, that's the extent of
don't drive while high if you can't drive while you're high. Is what it's just.
I just feel like the field sobriety test, it's just go straight to the breathalyzer.
It makes your life way easier.
I got bad balance.
No one has to help out of the car.
Or I've got really good balance.
Yeah.
I've got neuropathy. I suck at balancing on one leg. I remember there was one time when I first got neuropathy when we were in Cairns. The bouncer, I hadn't had a single drink. The bouncer's like, you look too drunk to get in. And that's when I realized I was wobbling while I was standing. And I was like, oh, this is sad. I was like, yeah, no, I just got this thing called neuropathy. I didn't realize I was wobbling while I was standing upright.
He's like, you're the second person that said that to me. Get out of here.
Dang it.
And in Queensland, all the bars and clubs are all connected. So if you don't get into one place, you won't get into others.
Most likely.
Most likely.
They communicate?
Yeah, they communicate.
They've got scans your license. ID, he's got a little chip in it in his ID that he scans.
Holy shit. God, they're too smart. Anyhow, this is a great conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having
us. It's fun. This is our first media thing in a while.
Welcome back.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, bravo.
We'll see you guys for the next album.
Please, keep coming back. Listen to all of Chase Atlantic's music. It's waiting for you. Link below, okay?
Amazon Music.
Discography, the entire thing. Brand new album, all waiting for you. Lost in Heaven. Chase Atlantic, everybody.
Yeah.
You're amazing.